recognize you. Yeah, are you famous? Yeah, I think you are. Hey guys, you might recognize him. He was on TV all over the place this year. Yeah. So, welcome back to Kids on the Living Edge. This is week 3 of our Subscribe Now series. Yeah, I got my buddy here and I'm hanging out. And I think it's a great week to talk about famous people. That's right. Do you know that famous people have Facebook accounts so that their fans, their family and their friends, can kind of connect with them and see what they're up to? A lot of people have Facebook pages. For example, do you know who this is? Yeah, she's real famous. She's got over 1 million followers on Facebook. You might even know who she is. What about this guy? Do you know who this is? Yeah, you maybe don't recognize him like off the movie screen, but he's a real famous actor. He's got a lot of movies, and he played one of our favorite superheroes of all time, Go Iron Man. And what about this guy? Yeah, he's like my very most favorite celebrity on Facebook. That's my pastor. Well, listen, on Facebook, someone can send a friend request to another person and wait to be added to a list of followers. Now, when they accept that friend request, the person is saying, okay, you can look at my pictures, you can repost, and they feel like they're connected. So the person who made the friend request always feels like, oh my goodness, I'm friends with whoever it is, so and so. But the problem is this: can you really connect with somebody and be their friends because you found them on Facebook or another social media platform? Is that like a real friendship? In fact, I'll give you a little friendship test. Think of people who know you, right? Friends that you have. And think about if you were to ask them these questions, could they answer them about you? For example, do they know details about your life that not a lot of people know? Like, do they know your last name? Do they know your favorite color? Or do they know your favorite snack, Doritos? Okay? That's how you can tell if someone's your friend. By how much they know about you, how much attention they give to the details in your life. When this week's lesson from John chapter 1, I wanted to share with you one of my favorite stories about Jesus. And it was when he started his ministry, how he started to call followers to him. That's right. We call them disciples because they were learners, they were followers, and they wanted to connect with Jesus and find out what he was all about, what he was teaching. But he went and found these followers and he knew them. He knew a lot about them. In this week's story, there was a day where Jesus decided to leave Galilee and he found Philip. That's right, he found this guy named Philip and he said, follow me. It's funny, on Facebook, you make the request to follow somebody, but Jesus said, follow me. And Philip, like Andrew and Peter, he was from a town called Bethsaida. And so in this town, Philip found a buddy of his called Nathaniel. Now it's interesting because he brought Nathaniel to Jesus. And he was telling him, you've got to come with me. I found the one that the prophets wrote about, the one that was in the books of Moses that he talked about in the law. Come on, you've got to meet him. And he told him about Jesus, and Nathaniel was kind of like doubting that this was a good thing. So he was like, can anything good come out of Nazareth? Because he thought that Nazareth was a place, that didn't have a good reputation. And Jesus was from Nazareth, so could he be the real deal coming out of Nazareth? Well, he meets Jesus. And Jesus, before Nathaniel gets to him, calls him out and says, look at this man. He is a true Israelite, someone who has no deceit in him. Now, deceit is a word that means like trickery or like lies or like a double person, like someone who's like fake, okay? And Jesus said, he's none of that. And Nathaniel's like, how do you know me? And Jesus told him, well, I saw you. I saw you while you were still under this fig tree. And that blew Nathaniel's mind. He's like, whoa, Rabbi, you are the Son of God. You're the King of Israel. That's when Jesus looked at him and said, you believe that because I told you I saw you under a fig tree? You'll see greater things than this. In fact, truly I tell you, you'll see heaven open up and you're going to see angels ascending and descending on the Son of Man. Now, we don't know how Jesus saw Nathaniel, or we don't know when he saw him, but there was no Facebook back then. You understand? You couldn't be alerted to a post about Nathaniel. Hey, it's Nathaniel, I'm sitting under this tree. But we know that Nathaniel saw Jesus, and Jesus saw Nathaniel, and even though Nathaniel thought that nothing good can come out of Nazareth, his opinion changed when Jesus talked about his character, who he was in real life. He told everybody, this man's not about trickery. And he talked about Nathaniel's real person, not just an image, like the ones we see on Facebook. People put pictures that they want people to see on there. And they post stories about themselves that they want everyone to know about. But you know, the greatest story of all is that Jesus knows you and he loves you and he calls you by name. Now I've got one more great story to share on the other side of this video, so I want you to hang out, watch this video, and join me as we close out this week's lesson on character and knowing like Jesus knows us, all right? I'll see you on the other side.
Hey there, you chicken nuggets. It's me, Carl.
And I'm Andy.
And welcome to Grow TV. Oh, I really popped you in the nose. I'm sorry. Are you okay?
Welcome to Grow TV. Roll the intro.
Ouch.
Welcome to Grow TV. Hosted by Carl, where we have fun with our friends, talk about Jesus, and go over everything the Bible has to offer. Now once again, welcome to Grow TV.
Let's try that again.
Okay. Nice.
Yes, we are
Perfect.
so in sync today.
Almost like we could finish each other's...
Sandcastles at the beach.
I was gonna say sentences, but...
You know, I wonder how well we actually know each other.
Me too. Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Ask each other questions that will prove how great friends we truly are? Yes!
So we're gonna take turns asking each other questions, and then you're gonna have to answer for what you think my answer would be. Got it?
Got it.
Perfect. All right, what is my favorite drink?
Easy. Theodore Roosevelt.
What?
What was the question?
My favorite drink, Carl.
Oh, I have no idea. But that's not a big deal, because I bet you don't know what my favorite drink
Hot
is.
chocolate with a half a pound of whipped cream on top.
Yes. Oh, man, you're good. All right, well, describe my perfect day.
Oh, man. Going to the zoo?
Not even close. Sleep until 3 p.m. Have first and second breakfast. Watch Monster Trucks with Mayma. Then order in some chicken nuggets, and then watch VeggieTales until I pass out.
Wow, I was way off. I guess we really don't know each other as well as we thought.
Guess not. We're like Jesus and Nathaniel.
What do you mean?
I mean, like in today's story, in John chapter 1. Jesus was leaving Galilee, and then he found Philip. You remember that, right?
Yeah, I think so. Jesus saw Philip and told him to follow him. Then didn't Philip go like find his friend Nathaniel who was sitting underneath a fig tree?
He sure did. But when Philip told him that everything the prophet said a long time ago about the Savior had come true, Nathaniel doubted him.
If I'm being honest, I probably would have too. That's a huge thing to say. And when people have been waiting a long time to meet Jesus.
They sure have.
And then Jesus saw Nathaniel and Jesus told him a ton of things that there's no way he could have known, right?
Yeah, and Nathaniel's like, what? Jesus even knew that Nathaniel was under that fig tree. Yeah, and then Jesus was like, I knew you, and I saw you before Philip even told me about you. And Nathaniel's like, what?
Totally. Then Nathaniel finally told Jesus that he believed not only that he was the Son of God, but he was also the Savior. I mean, how cool is that? All it took for Nathaniel to have faith is to know that Jesus cared about Nathaniel enough to know about him.
Pretty cool. Jesus is awesome.
It reminds me of the Bible passage in Psalm 139. It says that God knows us, God searches us, and God knows our thoughts even from far away. I don't know, I think it just makes me feel better knowing that God knows everything about me, you know? No secrets.
Yeah, it's hard sometimes when people don't understand you, and you feel alone sometimes. Do you think God knows that?
100%. Jesus showed Philip and Nathaniel that following Jesus really isn't as hard as we make it out to be sometimes. And it gets a lot easier once we realize that God knows everything there is to know about us. What we like and what we don't, when we're happy and when we're sad.
Does God know what I had for breakfast?
Of course, and I know too. Spinach omelet, right?
Yeah. How'd you know about that?
Your breath is pretty pungent today, so.
Oh, my bad.
So I don't know about you, but I feel a lot better about our friendship. We may not know everything about one another, but I think we have fun.
We sure do. And I don't care who knows what about me. Only thing I care about is that Jesus knows us.
Well, I know something. That's our big idea.
I doubt it.
It is. Watch. 1, 2, 3.
No. Oh, it was.
Okay, that was 1, 2, 3. There we go. Big idea intro.
Is it happening?
Music. Yep. Do you see the confetti around us?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. There's the letters being in front of our faces.
Why can't I feel it?
If you can be underneath the letters.
Okay. Today's big idea is Jesus knows us.
So let's say it out loud on the count of 3. 1,
2,
3.
3. Jesus knows us! Yeah!
Here we go. Yeah. What's up? Big idea. Here we go.
Stop. It's your first time. So we don't know each other as well as we thought we did, but I bet you can't guess how many fingers I'm holding up on this table.
3.
Nope.
This is gonna hurt. See you next week, kids.
Down!
Thank you for watching, and tune in next week for a new episode of Pro TV.
Awesome video as always. I'm so glad you hung out. Now, you've heard already this week's big idea. Jesus knows us, okay? He does, he knows us. But when did he get to know us? How did he get to know us? I'm gonna read to you the book of Psalms, Psalm 139, one of my most favorite Psalms in all the Bible, written by a guy named David. But before I read this to you, I wanna give you a little background. David was a kid, just like you are, real young, and he had a job to do for his family. It was not a glorious job. It wasn't the best job, but his father had him out in the field while his brothers were at home and they all had their education and their careers, and some of them were older, some of them were younger. But David had a job that took him away from his home, away from his brothers. It was a real lonely job. We never really have like something written down where David said, this is the worst job in the world. But we know from the work that he was doing that it left him alone for a long period of time. And there was something going on in Israel at that time where they were looking for a king. And David was going to be anointed or set apart for this very, very important job. But throughout his life, David had a really close relationship with God to help him overcome that loneliness, to overcome the feelings that maybe he wasn't loved or good enough. You know, because when you're alone for a long period of time, or, you know, if you feel like you've got bad feelings in your family, that can get in your head and that can get in your heart. And then you can start to feel that you're maybe not good enough, that no one really loves you. So before you, if you're thinking like this, and before you feel overwhelmed about thoughts like this, I want to read you David's words. And I want to read you how he felt about himself when he looked at himself through God's eyes. In Psalm 139, David said this, "O Lord, you examine me and you know me. You know when I sit down, you know when I get up. And even from far away, you understand my motives." Like God knows his heart. "You carefully observe me when I travel or when I lie down to rest. You're aware of everything I do. Certainly my tongue does not frame a word without you, O Lord, being thoroughly aware of it. You go before me and you follow me. You place your hand of blessing on my head. Your knowledge is beyond my comprehension. It is far beyond me. I'm unable to fathom it or understand it. Certainly, you made my mind and heart. You wove me together in my mother's womb. Give you thanks, because your deeds are awesome and amazing. You knew me thoroughly. My bones were not hidden from you. When I was made in secret and sewed together in the depths of the earth, your eyes saw me. When I was inside the womb, in his mother's belly, God saw him. All the days ordained for me were recorded in your scroll, because before one of them came into existence." Now, if you have time, Go get a Bible, read the rest of Psalm 139. It's really great to hear David's words saying that, God, you noticed me. You knew me when I was in my mother's belly, my mother's womb. You knew how to put me together. You were involved in my life back then. Jesus knows you. Jesus loves you, and he calls you. And like I told you last week, to live the life that you were meant to live. So if you're looking for someone to follow, you might not get on Facebook, you might get on another social media platform, but you can always follow Jesus because Jesus knows you and he loves you. Well, that's all I got for you this week. I can't wait to see you next week and continue this great series on Subscribe Now. Take care and thanks for coming